let's get started with, here's what I'm talking about, responsibility. Now, that's not a popular subject in today's world. Why? Because nobody wants to be, people don't want to be responsible. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Most people spend their day complaining about what they don't want and talking about whose fault it is. Think about it. Think about it. And y'all all got family like that. I know I do. Whose fault is it? Right? Here's what I don't like. And here's whose fault it is. All day, just talking about that. Here's what I don't like. And here's whose fault it is. When we stay in that mode, we're not productive. We're also not attractive. You ever seen someone like that and be like, I want to follow that person? They look like they're headed to a big place. No. So if you want to be a leader, if you want to do something worth doing, we've got to take responsibility. And here's the thing with responsibility. It's one of those things that you pick up and you have a tendency to put down. We pick it up and we go, all right, that's right. I'm in charge of my life. I'm picked it up. And then we have a tendency over time to put it down. So we got to pick it back up. And that's what I want to talk about today is how to increase that sense of responsibility, that inner sense of responsibility. It's one of those things people ask all the time. It's like, Steven, I need you to motivate me. I need you to motivate me more. I need you to hold me accountable more. I hear you and I'm trying, but I'm telling you, if it takes me to constantly make you move, you and I are in a jam. Why? Because I can't always be there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same thing with my children. I try to install that sense of responsibility deeply in them so that when I'm not around, they still make good decisions. If my children need me constantly on them to make good decisions, I have failed as a parent. That's why responsibility is so key. It's really, when you look at responsibility, having a strong sense of personal responsibility, it's the foundation of all success. Whether we're talking business success or family success, success in life requires a strong sense of responsibility. When you look at low performers, people that don't get anything done in life, high commonality is they don't take responsibility. Nothing's their fault. Everything is their situation. Here's what you don't understand. That's low performers. That's not you and me. You and me want to get big things done. So what do we focus on? We take personal responsibility because we understand that it's the foundation of any success we want to achieve. Responsibility is going to be right at that foundation. Here's the other thing personal responsibility does for us. When we have a strong sense of it, it maximizes opportunities and talents. When you see someone making the most out of a situation, it's because they have a strong sense of inner personal responsibility. So they get the most out of the opportunities that come their way. When you look at low performers, they complain about no opportunities ever came my way. No, that's not true. That's not true. If we watch the videotape of their life, like, oh God, there's another opportunity came their way. There's another opportunity came their way. There's another opportunity came their way, but they blew it. There's no sense of personal responsibility. But a strong sense of personal responsibility maximizes opportunities and talents. You want to talk about absolute wastes. One of the biggest wastes in society is waste of talent. Waste of talent. People waste talent through lack of responsibility. Here's the other thing, the biggest thing that personal responsibility will do for you. I'm going to get to 6 things that'll help us in a minute. But personal responsibility, and this is big, personal responsibility over a period of time will give you the most valuable thing you can have in business. And that is a solid reputation. I was talking with one of my buddies about this, and I said, what you need is get stuff done people, GSD people that get stuff done. And you say, well, how do people learn how to be like that? That's what you're seeing on the outside. Someone that just gets stuff done. Like, you don't have to worry about it. Give it to them and walk away because it's going to get done. Are they going to come and need extra coaching and extra obstacles? No, they just get stuff done. Those kind of people, think about those people. What do they have? They have a reputation for getting it done no matter what. Where does that come from? Personal responsibility. Reputation is so key. And think about the people you have in your life that they have a reputation of being flaky. You trust them with anything? No, you might like them, but you don't trust them. You absolutely don't respect them. Why? Because they don't get anything done. You can't count on them. They're going to flake out. They're going to make a big commitment and then they're going to flake out and hide. You just know it, right? So it's at the crux of that. It's responsibility. But I'm telling you, reputation is everything in business. When you have a solid reputation, it's because you are a responsible person and you have a history of it. And here's what I'll tell you: if you've beefed it a few times on responsibility, it takes time of track record of showing responsibility to eventually build your reputation back. But I'm telling you, that's one of the most valuable things you can have, is a solid reputation. Now, the other side of lack of responsibility, here's what that leads to: frustration. When we're frustrated, it's typically because we are pinning our problem on an outside source, and that's frustrating. Because when we're pinning it on an outside source, we can't fix that. Be clear. I love Holly, I love Chandler, and I love Tinsley, but there is just one tiny little corner of this universe that I can control. I can suggest, I can nudge, I can apply pressure, I can manipulate, lead, however you want to look at that coin. But there is only one little corner of this universe I can control, and that's me. And so if I'm constantly pinning my problems on other people, I'm going to be frustrated. So if you're ever frustrated, look at that as going, what am I not taking responsibility for? Because frustration is a symptom of not taking responsibility for a situation. And here's the danger in that: it leads to a very dangerous thing, and that's called self-pity. When we reach self-pity, we give up all our power. You'll never find a powerful person that engages in self-pity. They might engage in it for seconds, but they don't stay in it long. Something happened with Hutch. This guy said he was going to come on his team, and we were fired up about it, and then he changed his mind, and he kind of misled Hutch a little bit. And I love Robbie Kraft's reaction was, he said, I told Hutch, I was like, be good and pissed off for about 60 seconds, but then we got to get back to work. It's like, yep, that's what responsible people do. They might be furious for a minute, but then they go, wait, what can I do? I can go get it done. But self-pity is dangerous. You become absolutely powerless when you give into self-pity. Self-pity, self-absolving, all those things, be clear, they are absolutely going to take your power if you give into them. All right. So I think I hit it enough on why we need it. Let's talk about how to get it, how to build a stronger sense of it. Number one, start where you are. People that lack responsibility or have a low level of it in their life, they're always waiting for the next thing that's going to change them. They're always waiting for, I'm going to get started Monday. And then that does, I'm going to get started 1st October. Well, that comes and goes. All right. I tell you what, by November, that's when I'm really going to start getting serious. There's never a perfect time to get serious. You're never going to have all the answers, and you're never going to feel like, now I'm ready. So start where you are. Start where you're off, and start small, especially if you've been struggling with it in your life, especially if you've had a history. And I apologize for scratching my nose. My allergies are killing me again today. Start small. If you've got a history, you've got a pattern of not taking responsibility, and you're trying to make some big changes, start small. Let me give you one. Here's a small one you and I can both do. We can resolve today that we will no longer use snooze. Snooze is not the snooze on your alarm. That is not something a responsible person reaches for. It's also bad for your self-esteem, and I can do a whole thing on that, how breaking little commitments and covenants with yourself slowly erodes your self-esteem through incremental degradation, but we don't have time for that seminar today. You start small. I now, from this day forward, I get up when I'm supposed to get up. I get up when I'm supposed to get up, and that's what I do. Here's another small one. Hit your dial commitment. Hit your dial commitment. I get texts and messages a lot about, I need some coaching. I need some this. I need some that. And it's, you always try to figure out a way to package it in a palatable way. But the answer is, I need you to do the basics, put in a GMR, make 400 dials a week. Do those, and the other things become apparent. If you're caught in a haze, it's because you got too many undones in your life. But I'm just telling you, start where you are. Don't wait for national convention. I'm going to start getting serious. No, just start where you are. Start today. Start small. And here's what will happen. You'll start building momentum. Responsibility, that sense of responsibility, it starts to build momentum. Why? Here's why. And you already know this. I'm just reminding you. It feels good to do what we're supposed to after we've done it. And you already know that. I'm reminding you and me both. It feels good to do what we're supposed to after we've done it. So what happens is you start building momentum. You start small, you start building momentum. And then next thing you know, you're looked at like someone like Paul Roberts, where it's like, that guy is a get stuff done guy. He takes responsibility. He never puts it off on someone else. Does it make sense? But you got to build momentum. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Don't wait for all the answers to appear. I don't have all the answers. Nobody does. But start where you are. Start where you are, and then here's what you and I slowly do. We'll slowly build momentum as we clean up the incompletes in our life. We'll slowly build momentum as we clean up the incompletes in our life. And then I'm just telling you, the momentum will happen because it feels good to do what we're supposed to do after we've done it. Number two thing on building a stronger sense of personal responsibility is to choose your friends wisely. And you say, man, it seems like association weaves its way into every leadership thing. You know, whether you're reading a John Maxwell book, whether you're reading a Jack Canfield thing, whether you're whatever it is you're reading, and it's like, man, it seems like association always slides in there. It's like, yeah, because that association, there's two things that will change you, two things that will change and chart the course in your life: the media you take in and the people you're around. That's the two things that will change the course of your life: the media you take in and the people you're around. If you want to start getting in shape, quit hanging out with people that don't work out. Start hanging out with people that do. You'll feel uncomfortable if you don't. If we want to be more responsible, we can't hang out with people that aren't responsible. Why? Because they're gonna make it okay for us to not hang. They're gonna make it okay for us to not be responsible. And then, you know how all the irresponsible people get together and they have these little blame parties where they just, you know, you kind of go around the circle and everybody talks about what's unfair in their life and who's to blame for it. And then they all try and top each other with the unfair circumstances. You know, well, my circumstances and my circumstances are worse than your circumstances. This is the irresponsible people get together. We've got to drop out of, here's what it is. We drop out of the Ain't It Awful Club. I have zero friends that spend time saying things like, ain't it awful? Ain't it awful? Ain't it awful? I don't have time for that. I don't have time because I know it's going to affect me. Nobody's impervious to environment. And so if we want to be more responsible, we've got to seek out and build a different inner circle of more responsible people. And you say, well, I've already got a pretty good sense of responsibility in my life. If you want to get it stronger, you're going to have to upgrade your association. You're going to have to seek out people of a higher level of personal responsibility and work your way into that group. I'm telling you, it's as clear as day. Association, if you want to be more responsibility, look at the people that are in your network, your closest people. If any of them lack responsibility, that is 100% having an effect on you. 100% having an effect on you. Number three, this is big. This is big. We've got to stop blaming others. If we want to have a strong sense of personal responsibility, we cannot afford to blame others. Be clear what blame is. Blame is a narcotic that will leave you derelict. Blame is a narcotic that will leave you derelict. Why? Because it eases the pain. I don't like this. Here's whose fault it is. Okay, that feels better for the moment. But be clear, it's not fixing anything. It's a narcotic. All the blame is pain management. It is not a healing. And it will leave you derelict. Blame is so dangerous. Blame is so dangerous. And really, if you think about it, blame, if everything we don't like about our life was absolutely all someone else's fault. So if everything we don't like about our life is absolutely someone else's fault, you're in a mess because it ain't gonna get better, right? Because what's the one corner of the universe we can change? You, me. That's the only corner of the universe we can control or change. So if we blame the world, that's why people out there are so angry, by the way. Everybody's so angry, spouting off on social media, acting like crazy people. Why? Because blame will make you like that. Blame, I'm telling you. Here's the question. What can I do? Now, are there things that people will do that will adversely affect you? Absolutely. Absolutely. But here's the question. What can I do? Are there non-fortuitous turns of events that will happen? Yeah, we all get them. The question is, what can I do? You get these people that are always looking in the back, always looking in the rearview mirror at the hurts of the past. Well, my ex-wife from 3 ex-wives ago is just that she's. I hear you, and she probably messed you over, and I agree. But what can you do? What can you do? Does that make sense? This person, they absolutely lied to me, and they absolutely. I hear you. What can I do? Does that make sense? That's the blame fixing question. That's the blame fixing question. But be clear, blame, all it is pain management. It's a narcotic. There's no healing in blame. I promise you. All right, number 4, learn responsibilities, major lessons. Responsibility, personal responsibility has major lessons to teach us. We've got to learn those lessons. We don't have time to recite all the lessons that responsibility will teach us, but here's some of them. Success requires self-discipline. Success in any avenue. Well, why do you think so many families are dysfunctional? They get dysfunctional parents and dysfunctional kids. Because nobody's taking responsibility. Success in any venture requires self-discipline. That's one of the major lessons responsibility will teach you. When you just give into that and go, okay, all right, I got to practice self-discipline. I don't want to. Let me tell you, self-discipline is like manure. Nobody likes talking about it, but dadgummit, you can grow some stuff. You get a bunch of it. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen like big garden? First of the year, it stinks like crazy. It's just manure, but golly, watch what happens. That's what self-discipline is. Here's another big truth. No one was put on this earth to make you singularly happy. No one. That's why a lot of relationships fall apart. They don't make me happy. I don't want to tell you, they weren't put, that's not their job. They weren't put here to do that. No one was put on earth to make you happy. When you get your mind wrapped around that one, it makes it a lot easier to be happy. Here's another one that responsibility teach you. The cavalry ain't coming, right? You always have those movies where here's another way of saying it. Superman is make-believe. Nobody's coming to help you. Just it's you. Let's go. What can you do? What can I do? Does that make sense? Once you get your mind wrapped around that, we stop waiting. We stop waiting for someone to come save the day. Superman ain't real. Santa Claus ain't real. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to come save the day for us. If it's to be, we are the ones that got to work it out. Here's another one that responsibility will teach you. Finish well. Man, that's something I try to hammer into my son Chandler. Finish well. Be someone that finishes well. And I see him do a lot of that in his life and gets me fired up. Why? Because I know finishers win. Finishers win. Anybody can start. Like there's people coming out of Fall Summit fired up. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. The ones that finish, that's the ones that win. Hey, no different than hey, it don't take anything to bring a child into this world, but to finish well, to raise them well, takes a lot of responsibility. Here's another one. Know when others are dependent on you and act like it. Yeah, Andy and I were talking about this the other day. It's like you try and get people to get their mind wrapped around stuff. You know, and I love this team. I'd do anything for this team. I love the Alliance. I'd do anything for it, other than make 400 dials, other than actually show up on a leaderboard. I'd do anything. You see what I'm saying? Know when others are counting on you. We're trying to get some big things done. We're counting on you. I know people are counting on me. We've got to act like it. We've got to act like it. Here's another one. Unfair things are going to happen. Personal responsibility will teach you that. Unfair things are going to happen. What's our question? What can I do? Here's another one responsibility will teach you. This will get you out of the blame game. You don't have a monopoly on non-fortuitous turns of events. Nobody has a monopoly on that. I'm related to some people that think they do. They have the most calamitous things have ever happened to them. And if my life was more like somebody else's life, I'll be happy again. I hear you. Nobody's got a monopoly on it, man. We all face crap. Maybe that's a less fancy way of saying nobody has a monopoly on non-fortuitous turns of events. I wrote it that way, but really, crap happens to everybody. What are we gonna do? We got to do something. All right. So learned responsibilities, major lessons. And here's what I'll tell you. When you do something dumb, when you do something less than enlightened, when you blow it, when you beef it, whatever you want to call it, take stock of that. Take the lesson from it, then let go of the lament. Don't keep harping on yourself about it. Take the lesson, add it to the list of lessons, and move forward. All right, number 5, make tough decisions and stand by them. People, low achievers hide from tough decisions, and they think they're the only ones that don't like making tough decisions. It's funny, someone goes, I just don't like conflict. Nobody does, except for sociopaths. We all want to get along all the time and all be happy all the time and never have any friction all the time. The only problem is we don't live in a world that provides that. So we're going to have to make tough decisions. We're going to have to make tough calls. We're going to have tough conversations. But if you want to be a person with a strong sense of personal responsibility, make tough decisions and then stand by them. Stand by them, dadgummit. Because let me tell you something. There's some things that don't mix. Convenience and significance. That gets people in the jam. They make a big decision. This year I'm gonna do it, right? Hutch made a big decision. The fourth quarter is gonna be epic. I'm gonna pass everybody. I'm gonna be number 2, and so far ahead of everybody. It won't even be. There'll be a distant 3. That's what he made a decision. Now here's what's gonna be a struggle for him. Same struggle we all face when we make big decisions. Convenience comes calling. Yeah, but I sure would love to. Convenience and significance don't mix. Here's another one that don't mix. Comfortable and impactful. The reason we have so few impactful parents out here is they're unwilling to have uncomfortable conversations. They're unwilling to do uncomfortable things to set an example. Same deal applies in business. If you only do stuff you're comfortable doing, it's never going to be impactful. They don't mix. Now, here's what I tell you about decision making. It's overrated. Decision management is everything. Once you make a decision, now you've got to manage it. I make a decision to make the fourth quarter. I'm going to be like Mark. This is going to be the most epic fourth quarter of personal production I have ever done. Okay, awesome. Let's go. Now we got to manage that decision. What do we need to do? We need to immediately call Ashlyn Davis and up our GMR. We need to immediately start adding the integrity internet leads to our mix. We need to see what I'm saying. We have to start managing that decision. We have to immediately cut some other stuff out of our life to free up more phone time. We have to immediately set a new dial commitment and keep that dial commitment. We have to immediately set a new appointment commitment. We have to immediately change our calendar. That's the management part. Decisions are the decision part. That's this much of it. It's the management of it. And here's why. This is big. The ability to keep a decision and see it through long after the emotion in which we make the decision has passed. That's the definition of character. So number 5 is all about character. The ability to see a decision through long after the emotion in which it has passed. That is character. You want to have strong relationships. You want to have a massive business. There you go. The ability to see a decision through long after the emotion in which that decision was made has passed. I talk about kids a lot. I talk about kids a lot because Chandler's 18. The decision, hey, let's start a family. Let's create a happy family. That's all warm fuzzies. The ability to see it through when you're not feeling the warm fuzzies, that's character, that's personal responsibility. All right, number 6, live beyond yourself. That's the number 6 thing, the last thing on building a stronger sense of personal responsibility. You could say it another way. Remember, people are watching. Remember, example matters. Remember, reputation matters. Live beyond yourself. When we step out of that, we step into a realm of personal responsibility. When we stay in a realm of just get mine for what I need for me, we're going to shirk off responsibility. When we step out of that, that's when our sense of responsibility grows. That's when our sense of personal responsibility gets stronger. And that's how we keep feeding and fueling that thing we call reputation. Guys, I know those 6 things will help. They help me. It's one of those things. I was telling one of my buddies about that. He was talking about, like, do you ever get given a topic to talk on and you're like, I need to get better at that? I'm like, yeah, like all the topics I talk on are like that. And so let me tell you something, brother. Every conversation, every talk, it's just a conversation with yourself. Other people just get to listen in. But the number one person I'm talking to is me. So that's how you and I can have that stronger sense of personal responsibility and build massive businesses, have impactful lives, have significant things happen. That's how we'll do it. Guys, Holly and I love you. We are so fired up seeing people make moves. This fourth quarter is going to be massive. This fourth quarter, people are going to have massive breakthroughs. I can't wait to see who it is. I know it's going to happen, because I've seen it every year for 21 years, every year. So here's what I'd be thinking if I'm you. It's October, all right? Why not me? Why not you? Might as well be you. Guys, Holly and I love you. Hammer down, let's get after it.